Okay, good morning, millionaires. Good morning, millionaires. I hope everybody's feeling good. Slowly but surely, my voice is coming back. But hey man, long as God give me one, I'm gonna use it to serve. We're gonna see how this goes. I know I'm gonna probably need my man Earl to hold down the affirmations again this morning, but I still wanted to kick it with you because yesterday was kind of like a self-love day or kind of like a Valentine's Day, however you want to play it. But the bottom line is you're still a part of a team. You may want to write this down somewhere in your notes, but one of the most powerful concepts I've ever heard about teams I got from my business partner. The way my business partner puts it is that you don't proclaim yourself a leader, right? Uh, Leadership results from people giving you the gift of influence over their lives, right? Leadership results from people giving you the gift of influence over their lives. I think that's a really powerful concept to consider when you're talking about becoming a leader. Ain't that right, JG? The challenges facing a lot of leaders in today's world are varied and they are almost innumerable, right? But something else that I want you to consider when you're kind of like organizing the priorities on your list as it relates to you being a better man or a better woman, a better father, a better son, a better daughter, a better mother, a better sister, a better brother, right? I want you to work this into your priority kind of like ranking. Consider that every problem that we have in society is really a problem of leadership. Think about that. I don't care if you're talking about professional leadership. I don't care if you're talking about personal leadership, millionaires. It's a demanding time for leaders. But guess what? This is when a lot of the learning takes place, right? And one of the keys to becoming as effective a leader as possible is getting to know your team really well, learning how to build better relationships, how to build bridges instead of burn them. You hear me? Somebody say, build bridges, don't burn them, and give me a share. And I'm going to give you 7 ways to create better relationships with your team. Somebody say, build bridges, don't burn them. Build bridges, don't burn them. Build bridges, don't burn them. Right, Stuart? Right, Elaine? Come on, Jamie. Build bridges, don't burn them. You know, uh, there's this phrase where they say, but for the grace of God, go I. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's for the grace of the people that love you. You hear what I'm saying to you? Right, James? Build bridges, don't burn them. Let's get it. Build bridges, don't burn them, Terrence. Build bridges, don't burn them. Millionaires, your success as a leader is a lot of times going to be judged by the success of your team. So a lot of times those results can be looked at as a reflection of your relationship. You hear me? Because if you just come in trying to be the boss and you're giving rules and you haven't built a relationship, you may want to write this in your notes. Rules without relationship create rebellion. Rules without relationship create rebellion. All right. So I got 7 different ways that you can build a stronger rapport with your squad and ensure that great relationships are the foundation upon which you create outstanding performance. You hear me, Chanel? You hear me, Crystal? Somebody give me build bridges, don't burn them. Build bridges, don't burn them. This is important, y'all. Build bridges, don't burn them. Let's go. Let's go. Build bridges, don't burn them. Don't burn them. Appreciate that, Chris. Thank you, Queen, as always. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Build bridges, don't burn them. Let's go. Build bridges, don't burn them. Yeah, rules without relationship, Morose. Rules without relationship. Yeah, Vita. I just gave you back your homework this morning, Queen. I'm just now seeing it. Glad you're here, Vita. Build bridges, don't burn them. Mr. Terry knows what I'm talking about. One of the most brilliant networkers I've ever met. Mr. Al Terry. Build bridges, don't burn them. Mr. Terry, thanks to therapy, I didn't burn, that bridge when things just went completely haywire. Mr. Terry put me on a three-way not too long ago, and things just went left. But due to therapy, hopefully, God willing, we were able to build bridge instead of burn bridge. You know what I mean? Build bridges, don't burn them. All right, here's the first one I got for you on this. Millionaires, build a culture of listening. Build a culture of listening. Hey, that was crazy, man. That was crazy, Mr. Terry. I'm glad we were able to. Yeah, Mariana, what's up? Yeah. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? Yeah, so number one, ain't that crazy, Vita? So number one is build a culture of listening. Somebody give me that. Write that in your notes, because when you write it down, you put it deeper into your subconscious. Build a culture of listening. There's a lot that's been written about being an active listener. If you were to go on Millionaire Minded TV, you'd see training after training after training on becoming a better listener. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm still working on it myself. Being an active listener includes some real basics, right? Like giving the person in front of you your full attention, minimizing distractions, right? Reflecting back emotions, checking your understanding by asking questions, making sounds while they're talking to show you get it. Giving them the body language, like, like what? Right? You're giving them all of that because you're active listening. It means you're active while you're listening. But there's another way that you can build really good relationships with your team through listening. And that, as a leader, is about how you run the meeting, making sure you're getting everybody's opinion, right? What if you run meetings in a way that ensures everybody has a voice? Everybody feels listened to. Think about that. You can create what's called a thinking environment. Hey, you better preach to him, Chanel. You can create what's called a thinking environment based on allowing people the space and the time to think and access their own ideas before offering your own. See, that's leadership. Listen to me. Tag your upline. Tag your manager. This is a very important concept, Taisha. You hear me? Tag somebody who you want to help become a better leader. This is important. If you allow everybody an uninterrupted time to speak, at the very least, it allows them to feel listened to. And if you run a meeting based on these kinds of principles, you're going to get better ideas in less time, right? Now you're giving the participants the courage to act because they feel bought in. They feel like this is partially their idea. And then what's dope is people leave they leave the meeting feeling good about themselves. That comes from you building a culture of listening, right? Give me that and then give me a share. Give me that and then give me a share. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Build a culture of listening. All right, here's the second one I got for you. Appreciate that. Learn to recognize emotions in others. Learn to recognize emotion in others. We talked about this a whole lot lately, but emotional intelligence starts with this bottom line level that we call identifying your own emotions, which is why I still got the feeling wheel up there. I've sent it out to a bunch of you, but anybody else that wants it, just reach out and I'll send it to you. Because that feeling wheel is one of the first tools my therapist gave me so that we could get better at what we do as leaders. So we can get better as what we do as leaders first of ourselves. You got to know how to recognize your own emotions before you can manage them. But then level 3 of the 5 is being able to identify emotions in other people. Millionaires, can you recognize and name emotions both in yourself and in other people, right? I mean, facial expressions are a part of it. To be able to see and respond to others' unspoken feelings. This is crucial to compassionate connection. It's hard for them to feel connected to if you can't even recognize what they're going through. And a lot of times, our faces are the best place to read these things. It's a window to how we're really feeling. A lot of times, we say people wear their heart on their sleeve, but really they wear it right on their face. You hear me? And you're going to connect more fully with others if you hone this ability to recognize other people's emotional state. Here's number 3: use praise. Somebody say, use praise, and give me a share. I was talking to one of my mentees. She's having kind of a challenging time fitting in at her new job. And I told her that praise can be an incredible motivator when it comes to boosting positive emotions, creating boosts in people's performance, especially when the praise is authentic. You hear me? They did a poll recently that talked about that when they surveyed over 4 million employees all over the country, what they found is that employees who receive regular praise and regular recognition increase productivity, they engage with more colleagues, they're less likely to leave an organization. Can you hear me? Listen to those 3 things now. More productivity, they engage with more colleagues, and it increases retention. All with praise. But the key word here is authentic. Authentic praise, Taisha. You can't leave that part out. Authentic praise, because this is the whole thing. When you are able to find and share insights with other employees in a group, when you give your coworkers, your counterparts, your downline a good reputation to live up to, what happens is others start to understand other people's strengths in the organization. You hear what I'm saying to you? Now, this increases the team's visibility. This increases the team's reputation. This increases the team's esteem. Am I making sense? All of a sudden, your squad is starting to feel so powerful that they can help in things that are normally outside their you know how people always like, that ain't in my job description. Well, when you make people feel like they are special, like they are somebody, like you can see them, you hear that phrase less and less and less. All of a sudden, they're successful in the job and outside the job. You get what I mean? It reflects extremely well on you as a leader when you start to develop other leaders. Never forget, good leaders don't create followers. Good leaders create other leaders. Here's the 4th one I got for you. Yeah, Jamila, I'm so glad you're here, Queen. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, Ashley, this is so important. Tag your upline, tag your manager, tag the person that runs your company. Tag yourself, share it on your own timeline so you can refer back to this when you need it. What do I mean by be a leader? Teams want leading, y'all, not another buddy they can gossip with. I'm just going to let that marinate while I have some water. Teams need leading, y'all, not another buddy they can gossip with. You hear what I'm saying to you? Now, a leader does need to have connection with his people, but your job ain't to be everybody's best friend. Your job is to behave in a leaderly fashion that inspires trust, a leaderly fashion that inspires confidence. A leader provides vision. A leader provides objectivity, standing outside that whole melting pot around the water cooler of day-to-day frustrations and minutia. A leader has to see it from outside that. A leader got to be looking at it from a 30,000-foot view so they have a sense of clarity and a different perspective. You got to be able to see things differently. You got to have a wider, deeper view of what's happening within the team. But if you're trying to develop this, you're not going to do it by chiming in, making fun of the new person, or chiming in, with your opinion on the latest gossip. You hear what I'm saying to you? You're going to have to understand your own leadership style, appreciate the often intangible qualities that are inherent in the role. And then you've got to make sure you master these complex kind of like demands of serving while also leading. It's no joke. But listen to me. You've got to be a leader if you really want greatness. Be somebody your team can rely on, for fairness, for empathy, for compassion, for strong boundaries. Next thing you know, you got a safe working environment, and people perform better when it's a safe environment. Here's number 5. Somebody say set high expectations. Set high expectations. Millionaires, a lot of times you got to start with setting high expectations for yourself. You hear me? Now, setting high expectations is certainly important in terms of the outcomes you seek. But just think about behavior. What are your high expectations for behavior? What are your high expectations for culture? And one way to make sure everybody knows what's expected of them is to tell them. Don't be afraid of articulating your expectations and ensure that you demonstrate it daily. I often talk about how when you join the LA Lakers, if you've ever been to a basketball game or if you remember walking in the gym in your high school, if you haven't been to a professional game before, first thing you see is all the trophies. First thing you see is all the jerseys, because they want you as a new player, they want you as a new fan of this team to realize, I don't know where you come from, but around here, we win. They're setting high expectations. You get me? Here's number 6. Ask questions. Ask questions. Setting high expectations. Before I leave that, I just want to say this. A lot of times, this is what allows roles to be clarified, y'all. This is what allows success to be visualized. This is what allows individuals to be empowered to be all they can be, right? And to make the most of their talents. Adopting a yes, you can attitude towards these projects can kind of like be a self-fulfilling prophecy about performance. Plus, you get to demonstrate your belief in your team. When you set high expectations, they realize you'd never do that if they were losers. Once you've understood your team's individual strengths, then you can set challenging goals so that their reach can extend beyond their grasp. Just wanted to make sure I said that. But now back to number 6, asking questions. Well, this has a lot of benefits. We talked about doing this when you're creating a thinking environment inside a meeting, but I want you to think about this. When you ask questions, it signals interest, both personally and professionally, in your team. If you will adopt a questioning kind of coaching style as a leader, it's going to allow other people to be more solution focused. Now they feel empowered. You get what I'm saying? Questions encourage a culture of exploration, innovation, which you can think of innovation as being able to make mistakes without being punished. Innovation. Being able to make mistakes without being punished. See, now you're inspiring other people to take risks. You're inspiring them to be comfortable with failure while at the same time supporting them. Millionaires, this is invaluable as a leader. You hear me? This will inspire insane amounts of loyalty. Do you hear me? If your team keeps quitting you, if you have a high turnover rate, maybe one of these 7 is going to help you. Why did this work well? What do you think went wrong there? Asking questions is even the best form of constructive criticism. A lot of times as a leader, you think you helping them out, just cutting them to the quick. But let me tell you what the best kind of constructive criticism is. Asking them how they think they could have done better. Is that powerful? Here's the last one I got for you, y'all, and then we out of here. Hey, Earl, if you around, shoot me a text or throw it in the, you know what I'm saying?
We ready to go, Haziq. He's here.
Right on. All right. So number 7 is develop shared values. Develop shared values. It's almost affirmation time, But you see how we've all got this shared value of speaking life? That's why we do affirmations every morning, because we're developing shared values. Values are often the unspoken rules by which we live, by which we act. It's our values that govern our behavior. Does that make sense? And when a group of people have a certain set of values and understand what behaviors support those values, all rules start to coalesce into just one, which is live those values. Does that make sense? Once the team understands the values, the number one value is to live those values. You get what I'm saying to you? So, as a leader, maybe you want to start devoting a little bit more time as a new leader, even into establishing the values. This is going to build great relationships between you and the team, but it's also going to build relationships between the team and the team. You get what I mean? Now everybody can hold each other accountable. It becomes a safe space. It becomes understood that this is how we rolling around here. It is a highly effective way to cement a team, and it's probably responsible for my success more than any other thing. The fact that I try my best to live by a certain value, and then my vibe attracts my tribe. Just like my vibe pushes away people that do not believe in the things that I believe in. You get me? Hope this was helpful to everybody. It's affirmation time. Call in right now. If your phone tries to charge you for this, then just text message call me to the same number. Text message call me to the same number. Millionaires, you are never going to rise higher than the team you're able to build, because nobody can do it alone. And if you suck as a leader, if you suck as somebody who's just a self-absorbed jerk, then I'm going to tell you what, your results are going to show you. You don't need to come on Good Morning Millionaire to find out if you suck. Just look at your results. You don't have to come on Good Morning Millionaire to know if you're a good leader. Just look at your results. You say, Haziq, is something wrong with them? But check it out. What if there are no bad students? There are only bad teachers. Check it out. What if there are no bad followers? There are only bad leaders. Don't get me wrong. You can't throw pearls before swine. This big book about entrepreneurship says that. Don't waste pearls on swine. Pigs don't know what to do with pearls. You get what I'm saying? So that ain't what we're saying. There's always balance there. But at the same time, what you have to do is understand that in the final equation, the most healthy response to a crisis is to look in the mirror and take responsibility. I love you all. It's affirmation time. Let's get it.